Yeah, I think that was like 2019, or yeah, I think that was either, yeah, it was mid 2019, I believe. Guilty Gear Strive finally got announced, and like I was like, what? That one game that I played when I was 19, like it's got another sequel, you know? Because I was my same thought when Exarch came out, was that, you know, I just thought that it was really cool at this game that I thought was super freaking niche that I didn't think anyone even knew about got a sequel. That was awesome. But it got another sequel, and I was like, this time I want to be a part of that, because, like, you know, as a part of my nostalgia, with Plus R, um I bought it for my PlayStation 2 when I was 19. And like I spent a good month of my summer just like playing the heck out of it. Again, that was before I was really willing to dabble into like the training mode at the time. I just like ran my head against it and enjoyed every minute of it. But yeah, I played against computers and such like that, but I never had the confidence to actually try playing against actual players. Like with games like Soul Calibur, Tekken, like the AIs in those games are just so freaking good. I was always thinking that, like, man, the people that actually play this game like must be godlike, because like you can't start fighting people until you mastered fighting the AI in the hardest mode, right? And like I can't even block the stuff that they're doing, let alone open them up. Like, how am I gonna fight a person? So I just never had the confidence to do it. But what I wanted more than anything was to just get decent enough at fighting games to just beat people to music that I like, right? So from 2019, you know, life happens, you know, this, that, and the third, essentially. I find myself, um, about like when 2020 started, with a lot of free time and needing to find myself and like what what Mune actually enjoys. You know what I mean? Uh, and it crossed my mind again, the thought about how I want to play fighting games. Like Dragon Ball Fighters was cool. I was super interested in Android 21. Guilty Gear Strive was coming out like that following year, or the summer of that year. Um, all these fighting games with cool characters that I never interact with, and I never like tried to get into the FGC. I didn't even know that the FGC was a thing at the time. Um, just this thing that I was letting pass me by and not doing, because I was afraid, you know. Um, and with that, I just decided like, hey, I'm gonna try this. You know, I'm gonna try my hardest to learn how to actually fight and play these games. You know, um, and it was a huge step for me in my life, because I, man, and it's funny because again, like, went through nursing school and everything, but I never tried tackling and learning something of this caliber before. Um, and it's funny because it's just a game, but when it comes to a fighting game, it really is like learning an instrument. Like you have to figure out how to like navigate the thing mechanically, um, and then you pull in the human aspect of it. So you need to learn how to like get into another person's head, you know, and navigate the situation of the fight while at the same time utilizing what you know, and just the knowledge that you have of the character that person's using, reading what you found out about the person that you're fighting just from like their movements and such. It's a lot. It was a lot. But you know, I wanted to start. So I started with like Dragon Ball Fighters because like it was the, I felt like it was the closest thing to Guilty Gear Strive at the time. I wanted to like have some kind of readiness for it, and then Eventually I did try some Plus R because I wanted to like try the Guilty Gear series, and of course the nostalgia of it. I just like had so much free time that like I really just wanted to relish in the things that I enjoyed in my youth. And like it's cool. I don't know if like you or anyone else like feels this way. But growing up as a kid, I feel like when you're a kid, you're just enjoying things for the sake of enjoying it. You know, you love what you love, and you know that you like it because you like it. As a teenager, you try to like reject what you were into as a kid because you're like, oh, that was childish and I want to grow up, right? And then when you finally grow up, you find yourself going back to the things that you enjoyed as a child, trying to get back that time, or rather like that good feeling that you had back then. And you know, granted, it was when I was playing Plus R. Welcome back, Zen. Yeah, but what was my yeah, basically, yeah, even though I was like 19 at the time, I felt like when I was 19, that year was like my last chance to enjoy being a kid for the most part. Like, yeah, I was working at the time. Oh no, 19. I wasn't 19. I was like 17 at the time. Holy crap. Yeah, I just turned 18. That was when life really started kicking me in the butt. But yeah, no, that was like my last year to really enjoy being a kid. That was the year before I freaking went to charter school, and then had to get a job before I had to start figuring out what the heck I was doing with my life. That was my last summer vacation that I got to enjoy, just like not having to worry about being a grown up, you know, and that was cool. So I guess that's like really why I like gravitated to playing Plus R again, and like really wanted to learn. And that's probably a big part of why like I was so willing to come into the Guilty Gear series. Because like, yeah, it was just a part of my childhood, you know. And then of course freaking Wooly made a video about just the lore of the game, freaking which pretty much brings me to Plus R. Yeah, Plus R was where that and Dragon Ball Fighters, but Plus R was finally where I took the experience I got from playing Dragon Ball Fighters. Long story short, with that, got on 21, finally learned to like look up guides and how to play characters, and take that into Guilty Gear Plus R. And I started with A.B.A. Thought she was really, really cool. Just her mechanic as a character was not really hard, wasn't hard to get into, but I just didn't know enough as a beginner to like manage meter like that, or manage my resources as a player yet. I just didn't have it yet. But I went with that for a while, basically until the game released. Finally got into Guilty Gear Strive and picked up the heck out of Giovanna. Love her, like still my goat. And yeah, I just did that. It took forever to learn how to fight, but I didn't give up, and just every little thing that I accomplished, from learning how to do a quarter circle forward to learning how to for real, that's how it works. All right, it's okay. But yeah, learning how to do combos, to learning a basic frame trap, to learning little ways of how to get into my opponent's head. Like, I enjoyed it so freaking much, and like I was so locked into it. It was to the point where like I was talking about it with anyone who was willing to listen to the situation. The classic like, see, this thing that you told me about reminds me of this thing that I've been learning from my fighting game, and like how it affects life, you know. And what was really cool about that, and what I loved most about my time learning how to play fighting games, is it's changed my perspective on how I deal with situations in life. You know, like not so much in the case of like, oh, I treat every situation in life as a fight, but more so my willingness to disciplinely look at something, pull information that is around me and apply myself at what I'm doing. I guess that kind of thing mostly helped out with work. As far as like person to person interaction, you know, I still had to like freaking, you know, work in customer service and just keep talking with people until it became less awkward. But yeah, like for my work and even for like my studies, just my willingness to look at material outside of when I'm just like working on it in front of me, like went up. Like in college or like school or whatever, like people always tell you, oh, you need to like look at the material at home. Like growing up, that was not something I was ever really interested in doing. What I would do is just like pay really close attention in lecture and try to retain that information. After playing fighting games like that, I've gotten to the point where like, yeah, I'm thinking about the game when I'm not playing it. Like I'm at work, I'm listening to a podcast or some kind of discussion, or maybe watching a guide on my character, trying to like get information that maybe I've forgotten and try to reapply it to what I'm doing. And because of that, I think the same way about anything that requires complex thought. Like eventually I'm going to go back to school to get my bachelor's my bachelor's or an associate and be an RN. Right now I'm an LPN. But I'm like super looking forward to going back to school because basically what that's giving me is a huge craving for learning. I'm super interested in learning things now. Like I love talking to people that know about something that I don't. I go into sponge mode whenever they talk, and I'm just like listening and lock it in. And that's really cool. That's honestly something I completely refined from learning how to play these freaking characters and thinking about them even when I'm not playing the game. And you know, that's cool. I went from being a total scrubby beginner that didn't know what he was doing to climbing up to the celestial floor in Strive, which is like only 7% of the people that played the game were in there at the time. You know, not to say like I was the best player ever. I was super freaking intermediate. But you know, it still felt so good to finally accomplish that. And it took me a while to really realize that, you know, I did accomplish what I was looking for. Like with something like that, you end up focusing really hard on the aspect of winning. Because like that's where you felt the sense of improvement coming. You know, you learned something, you got good at doing it, you put it to the test in matches, and you won because you did that. Eventually you would get to a point where like you've learned a lot of what you can, and now all the things that you pick up from here are very micro. So like you're gonna get beat up sometimes because some days you're the hammer and other days you're the nail. And for a long time, while I was playing Strive, then I was too focused on the result of improvement and not just accepting that you learn how to do this consistently. And that's pretty freaking cool, because you go back yesterday and tell yesterday you that you're doing this, he'd be like, whoa, that's so dope, you know. But eventually it synced in that I accomplished my goal. You know, like I was constantly beating people up to music that I liked every time I hopped on. And yeah, so like from there, that was like, yeah, it was about like 2020 or 2022. I finally like gave myself a little break from Strive and like played other games. That's why you like my streaming up to this point has been like very casual in the games that I played. Um, Never stopped loving fighting games, but I did need to take a step back and take a break and like experience other games and other fighting games. Cause like I haven't been on Guilty Gear like that for a while. This will be my first time really coming back since my break. But before my break started, we have a whopping one. No, I wish. No, we have a whopping playtime of 815 hours. This was the game that I used to learn how to play fighting games for real, and that was the contribution of time. Like, reading that myself is like crazy, because even given the time where like you had a game up and you were wasting time, or just like talking to someone, or like you accidentally left the game on and you left, that's at most 80 hours of time that could have possibly gone to that. That is like over 700 hours of just straight up either in the training room practicing a combo or fighting someone. Like, holy crap, man. Hey baby. Hey, I'm just hanging out talking about how much of a fighting game nerd I am. Man. Ooh. Oh, all right. You have an interesting one there. I'll show you the cast in just a bit. Let me see.